you need to have a proper player base.
Working directly with competitive players.
Everything I do is to serve the mission of making Vail the most competitive VR shooter.
And that's really where we're at. So this is a pretty big day for us to actually be able to even talk about it. And I've been looking forward to this day for so long, but it's finally here.
Oh, get wrecked.
Welcome to a brand new series, Indie Dev Spotlight, or I guess just Developer Spotlight works just fine. Really, this is my take on solving a fundamental issue that the entire VR industry has. Indie devs don't have the time or money to spend on marketing their game, and typical VR gamers don't have the time or money to waste on bad games. So you end up with a bunch of games that have amazing potential but never reach that potential because nobody really knows about the games. And that's where something like Indie Dev Spotlight comes in. I take games that I think have extreme potential and I tell you everything I can about them. And hopefully in the end, everyone wins. And this is episode 1. I'm traveling to beautiful Miami to talk with AEXLab, a small studio creating a game called Vail, a game that they believe will be the next competitive shooter to take over VR. And so far, they've been super quiet, just keeping their heads down, working on their games. But you know what? I've actually got a plane to catch, so...
Our studio started initially around 2015, and in 2017 is when we really decided to begin full-fledged development into Vail. And we're now in 2021, so wow, time flies. It's been about 6 years. It's been about 6 years since we've been doing this. As you can tell in the studio, it's really hard to tell when time goes by in here.
So I'm Elizabeth. I'm the creative director on Vail, and basically I do everything from 3D modeling, level design, graphic design, everything. The filming, cinematics, a bit of it all. I mean, at its core, Vail is a competitive shooter, tactical VR game, but it's a lot more than that. It goes deep on the character development. You have these two factions, Colonist and Rayab, and they both have their ideas about how the world should be, how the future should be, and they come together and clash over what they believe in. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm really into like brutalist architecture, and recently when we went to Japan, actually, Jonathan Albert, all of us, we got to see a few Tadao Ando structures, and just seeing how the concrete is put together, that's something that we really wanted to bring into the game. Just having beautiful spaces, like real, like believable spaces, but a minimal sci-fi sort of aesthetic. This map actually, it's our first map. It's really just like a test map, and it's meant to be like really small for like close quarters combat.
So, and then this is our friend Polly. Elizabeth doesn't like that I optimized them because they used to have a lot more detail, but they're still the same personality, so we're all good. We call him Polly.
So what is Vail? What makes Vail special compared to all of the other shooters out there?
Far back as I can remember, I was really into Counter-Strike. It all starts with Counter-Strike. Counter-Strike is the touchstone for Vail, honestly, as far as competitive play and all that goes. So Vail, at its very core, is all about tactical immersion, team play, collaboration, becoming better as a player. I'm frankly obsessed with competitive play, sportsmanship in esports. I want us to be the de facto first-person shooter, just how Counter-Strike is.
Competitive integrity, the culmination of what it means to be a good competitive game. Making sure the game is fair and balanced and predictable. Games like Valorant and Counter-Strike have optimized their netcode and other things to factor out outside issues like server latency and lag. And in my opinion, the competitive integrity of a game dictates how seriously I take it as a competitive player. And a lot of VR games have this level of jank that you can't quite put your finger on, but it seriously holds it back in terms of that competitive integrity. And according to AEXLab, this is something that the Vail team have been seriously working on.
There's a lot of things we're doing and there's a lot of problems we've solved that other games haven't solved yet. Not fun problem, and it's something that's not a fun, sexy feature people can stare at and get excited about. Netcode. Netcode, reducing perceived latency is a really big thing that a lot of people, they don't understand until they're trying to play a competitive game over the internet with other people, that they're all synchronized with the server at varying times, and that's also made us take a lot longer. That's also kind of dictated this situation where we've stayed in stealth mode for a really long time because we didn't want the pressure of a rushed demo, a rushed beta date, a rushed ship date.
Slow, organic growth. We want to make sure that everything is done right. We don't want to add features before we have everything properly working. We're just really trying to roll it out slowly. We're not in a rush. We just want to do it right.
What got you into VR? Does AEXLab have any previous VR experience?
What initially got me into virtual reality was when Elizabeth created a beautiful game called Water Planet for her EP that she was releasing at the time. And it was a fully immersive art experience that allowed you to listen to her music and explore her world. And when I first jumped into virtual reality, I just couldn't believe at what had happened to me. It teleported me to another world, another universe, and I just knew that moment that this technology was going to change the way that humans interact and live and play and just do absolutely everything. It was just so beautiful to me.
Basically, there was 4 levels, and each level was a chapter of the story that coincided with a song from my EP. It really just started off as like I was making visuals for my live performances, and that was like the foundation for the levels that became the game. And it all just kind of came together. Like I dove into Unreal Engine and started making it, and more like it just...
Elizabeth and I, we always talk about this, and we relate it to when theater transitioned to film and how a lot of people either got left behind or didn't see the change coming. We see the change coming. It's happening right now. Virtual reality is this new level, or this, it's incomparable. It's the same way you're a kid and you discover a book you really like for the first time and you get a certain level of immersion, you're in the book. But VR is that times a million. It's crazy. So I still think there's a lot that can be done with storytelling. I think there's a lot that can be done with competitive play in virtual reality. There's so much that can be done with virtual reality. It's completely brand new and there's nothing like it. So I always had these creative desires to make a first-person shooter, and then the second virtual reality started becoming a thing, that's when I said, we need to seize this. This is my chance to make a difference in gaming. So, yeah. Oh, well, she got the 1 pixel. My head was expensive.
Headshot.
So, yeah, in real life, the barrel on the Glock, it kind of tilts back a little bit when it's cycling. So there's a lot of fine details we're adding. And then also you can see it, for instance, here on the trigger. Oh, nice catch.
So the Vail team had one more thing that they wanted to show. I guess there's no way to know how a gun shoots or how to make a gun in VR without some experience. So to my surprise, I got to see some first-hand research and development into how Vail's guns came to be.
This is how we do research at AEXLab for Vail VR. Research!
Nice, nicely done.
Research. Fuck you, that's my line.
Wait,
Research.
what is it?
Elizabeth, you gotta say research also, huh?
Here at AEXLab, I got a good one. I got a good one.
Yes. Honestly, this whole thing was a blast. If there's one thing I absolutely love about the VR industry, it's whether it's just a typical VR user or some streamer or a game developer, there's such a contagious passion for VR and it infects everyone it touches. And Vail and their team is no different. They've been putting in hard work for years to develop the backbone of Vail, and there's absolutely no guarantee it'll pay off. That's honestly up to the team supporting Vail in the future and up to everyone, the players. But I will say the groundwork is laid and I'm excited for Vail, and I'm excited for everyone else to try it as well. The game is currently in invitation only, but you can request to play off of Steam for totally free, or watch one of my Twitch streams to get a drop and get immediate access. But about Indie Dev Spotlight, or Dev Spotlight, whatever it's going to be called, if you like this format or style of video, please let me know either by that like button or commenting. This has been the most ambitious video I've ever done on my channel. I do believe that something like this can be beneficial for everyone in the VR industry. And who knows, maybe your favorite VR developer or game will be next for a spotlight. But I do want to give a massive thanks to all of my Patreon supporters, especially my Omegas like Anders, Atomali, Benji, Viz, Caution Ramen, CBCJ79, Furtrap, Fusion Oak, HCG Randon, I'm Naku, KR, Lucid VR, Mud King, That Brock Guy, Token Engineer, Very Evil Shadow, and Gran. I couldn't do any of this without you. Seriously. Don't forget to like this video if you loved it, subscribe if you want more of this, and hit that freaking bell if you just can't live without it.
Much love.
You hit it?
Yeah, he hit it.
You hit it?
Yeah.
Oh my. Not gonna fall. Come check out our studio.